My wife demanded an open marriage. She slept with her boss in our bed. I found someone new, and she panicked. Then she showed me his email, and it changed everything. My name is James. I'm 32, a graphic designer in Seattle, Washington. For 10 years, I thought my marriage to Emily was solid. We met in high school, fell in love, and built a life together in our cozy Capitol Hill apartment. She was my rock, my partner, my everything. But last year, everything changed. Emily, my wife, the woman I trusted with my heart, dropped a bomb that shattered our world. It was a rainy Tuesday evening. I was cooking dinner, the smell of garlic and herbs filling our kitchen. Emily sat at the counter, her fingers nervously tapping her wine glass. She looked different, distant, like she was hiding something. Then, out of nowhere, she said it. "James, I think we should open our marriage." My heart stopped. I set the spatula down, my hands shaking. Open our marriage? What did that even mean? I stared at her, waiting for a punchline that never came. She explained it like it was no big deal. Her new friends at the ad agency where she worked had been filling her head with ideas. They were single, wild, always talking about their adventures. Emily, who'd been with me since we were kids, started feeling like she'd missed out. She wanted to explore, to find herself. I felt my stomach twist. I told her no, that I wasn't okay with it. I loved her. I didn't need anyone else. But Emily's face hardened. "If you don't agree, we're done," she said, her voice cold. An ultimatum. My world spun. Divorce? After all we'd been through? I begged her to reconsider. We argued for hours, our voices echoing through the apartment. I asked what I'd done wrong, why I wasn't enough. She wouldn't budge. Her friends had convinced her this was normal, that couples did this to grow. I felt trapped, like a cornered animal. Against every fiber of my being, I gave in. I didn't want to lose her. I thought maybe, just maybe, this would pass. The next week, Emily changed. She started staying late at work, her phone buzzing constantly. She'd come home with a glow I hadn't seen in years, but it wasn't for me. I'd lie awake at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering what I'd done to deserve this. My heart ached, a dull, constant pain. I tried to talk to her, but she'd brush me off, saying I was overreacting. "This is what we agreed to, James," she'd snap, her eyes avoiding mine. I didn't know how bad it would get. I didn't know her new friends were pushing her towards something that would break us. I didn't know I'd soon catch her in our own bed with someone else, shattering the last piece of trust I had. But that night, as I stood in our kitchen, the weight of her words crushed me. I felt like a fool, clinging to a marriage that was slipping through my fingers. It had been 3 weeks since Emily's ultimatum. Our Capitol Hill apartment, once warm with laughter, now felt like a cold battlefield. I tried to hold on, to pretend things could stay normal, but Emily was already gone. She'd come home late, her perfume mixed with a stranger's cologne. Her phone never left her side, and her smile wasn't for me anymore. I was drowning in my own home, but the worst was yet to come. One Friday evening, I got off work early. My boss at the design firm let me leave to prep for a big pitch. I thought I'd surprise Emily with dinner. I stopped by Pike Place Market, grabbed fresh salmon, her favorite. My heart was heavy, but I wanted to try to bridge the gap widening between us. I climbed the stairs to our apartment, the bag of groceries crinkling in my hand. The door was unlocked. Strange. I pushed it open, and my world collapsed. There, in our bed, was Emily, with Michael, her new manager at the ad agency. The sheets, the ones we'd picked out together at a flea market, were tangled around them. My breath caught in my throat. I dropped the groceries, the salmon hitting the floor with a dull thud. Emily's eyes met mine, but there was no shame, no apology. Michael smirked, leaning back like he owned the place. "James," Emily said, her voice sharp. "You're home early," I exploded. "This is our bed," I shouted, my voice cracking. "We had one rule, Emily. One rule." My hands shook, my vision blurred with rage. I wanted to scream, to throw something, to make her feel the pain tearing through me, but Emily just laughed, a cold, mocking sound. "You're so gullible, James," she said, right in front of him. "Rules are meant to be broken." She got up, pulled on her dress, and walked out with Michael, leaving me standing there, humiliated, in the ruins of our home. I don't remember how long I stood there, staring at the empty bed. The apartment smelled like her perfume and his arrogance. My chest burned, my heart a shattered mess. I wanted to chase her, to demand answers, but my feet wouldn't move. I was paralyzed, not just by betrayal, but by the realization that the woman I loved was gone. She'd chosen him, chosen this over us. That night, I made a decision. If Emily could throw our marriage away, I wouldn't just sit here and take it. I downloaded a dating app, my hands trembling as I set up a profile. I wasn't looking for love, just something to fill the void she'd left. I swiped through profiles, each one a blur, until I matched with Sarah. She was a designer like me, working in Bellevue, with a warm smile and kind eyes. We started chatting, and for the first time in weeks, I felt a spark of hope. Our first date was at a quiet coffee shop in Fremont. Sarah's laugh was infectious, her stories about her quirky coworkers pulling me out of my darkness. I told her about my job, my love for sketching, but not about Emily. Not yet. She didn't need to know how broken I was. For those few hours, I felt like myself again, like a man who could breathe, who could smile without forcing it. But when I got home, Emily was there, acting like nothing had happened. She was cooking dinner, humming softly, as if she hadn't just ripped my heart out. I looked at her, and all I felt was rage. She'd betrayed me, mocked me, and now she thought she could play house? I turned and walked out, my phone buzzing with a new message from Sarah. That was the moment I knew I was done waiting for Emily to come back to me. After catching Emily with Michael, I felt like a ghost in my own life. Our Capitol Hill apartment was a prison of memories, each corner tainted by her betrayal. I threw myself into work, sketching designs late into the night, trying to drown out the pain. But Sarah, the woman I met on that dating app, was a flicker of light in the darkness. She didn't know about the wreckage of my marriage, and I wasn't ready to tell her. With her, I could breathe again. We started seeing each other regularly. Sarah worked at a design firm in Bellevue, just across Lake Washington. Our dates were simple walks along Alki Beach, tacos at food trucks, late-night talks over coffee in Fremont. She had this way of making me laugh, really laugh, for the first time in months. Her hazel eyes sparkled when she talked about her passion for typography, and I found myself hanging on her every word. With Sarah, I felt alive, like I could take on the world. I started smiling again, my shoulders lighter, my steps surer. But back home, Emily noticed the change. One evening, I came home to find her in the kitchen, apron on, making my favorite lasagna. The smell hit me like a wave of nostalgia, but it couldn't erase the image of her with Michael. "I thought we could have a nice dinner," she said, her voice soft, almost pleading. I stared at her, my heart cold. She was trying to be the perfect wife again, cooking, cleaning, even initiating intimacy. But it was too late. The spark I once felt for her was dead, buried under her mockery and betrayal. I started spending more time away, crashing at a friend's place or working late to avoid her. Sarah became my refuge. One night, we sat on a bench overlooking Puget Sound, the city lights glittering across the water. I told her bits of my story, not the ugly details, but enough to explain why I was guarded. She listened, her hand resting gently on mine, and said, "You deserve to be happy, James." Those words hit me hard. Happy. I hadn't felt that in so long. Emily's efforts grew desperate. She'd leave notes on the fridge, apologizing, promising to change. One night, she waited up, her eyes red from crying. "I miss us, James," she said, her voice breaking. "I know I messed up, but I want to fix this." I looked at her, the woman I'd loved since high school, and felt nothing but pity. "You broke us, Emily," I said quietly. "I don't know if there's an us to fix." She collapsed onto the couch, sobbing, but I couldn't comfort her. My heart was with Sarah now. Sarah made me feel like a man again, like I could face anything. When I got a text from her, my face lit up. When we talked, I forgot the pain Emily caused, but deep down, a part of me wrestled with guilt. Was I giving up too easily? Could Emily change? I pushed those thoughts away, focusing on the joy Sarah brought me, but I knew this couldn't last forever. Soon, I'd have to face Emily, to confront the truth about why she'd pushed for an open marriage. That conversation was coming, and it would change everything. I couldn't avoid Emily forever. Her tearful apologies, her desperate attempts to win me back, they were suffocating. I needed answers, not promises. Sarah gave me strength, but the weight of my broken marriage still clung to me like damp Seattle fog. So, one chilly evening, I sat Emily down in our Capitol Hill apartment. The living room felt too small, the air thick with tension. I needed the truth, no matter how much it hurt. "Emily," I said, my voice steady but cold, "why did you do this? Why did you push for an open marriage?" She sat across from me on the couch, her hands twisting in her lap. Her eyes darted to the floor, like she was searching for an escape. "Be honest," I pressed. "No more lies." She took a shaky breath, and the floodgates opened. "It started with her work friends at the ad agency," she said. "They were a tight-knit group, always swapping stories about their wild nights out. Emily, who'd been with me since high school, started feeling like she'd missed out. We were so young when we got together, James," she said, her voice trembling. "They made me feel like I'd never lived, like I was boring." Her friends planted the idea of an open marriage, telling her it was a way to explore without losing me. I clenched my fists, my nails digging into my palms. Boring? After everything we'd built? Then she dropped the bomb. Her manager, Michael, had been flirting with her for months before the open marriage talk. "It wasn't physical at first," she whispered, tears streaming down her face. "Just texts, compliments, little moments at work." But her friends egged her on, saying it was her chance to feel alive. My stomach churned. I remembered the smug look on Michael's face in our bed. "So you were already cheating," I said, my voice low, dangerous. She flinched, nodding. "Emotionally, yes. I'm so sorry, James." I leaned forward, my heart pounding. "When did it get physical?" She froze, her breath hitching. "Tell me," I demanded. She covered her face, sobbing. "Before we opened the marriage," she admitted. "In his office, after hours. It was just once, but I crossed a line." My vision blurred, not with tears, but with rage. Once? She'd lied to my face, made me agree to her twisted idea of freedom, all while she was already betraying me. I wanted to scream, to walk out, but I needed to hear it all. Emily kept talking, her words spilling out like a confession. Michael had made her feel special, desired in a way she hadn't felt in years. Her friends cheered her on, calling it self-discovery. But when I started seeing Sarah, everything changed. Emily saw me smile again, saw the light in my eyes when my phone buzzed with Sarah's texts. "It hit me like a truck," she said, her voice breaking. "I realized I could lose you. That's when I knew I'd been an idiot." She reached for my hand, but I pulled away. Her touch felt like a burn. I stood, pacing the room, my mind racing. "You mocked me, Emily," I said, my voice shaking. "You called me gullible in front of him. In our home." She sobbed harder, her shoulders shaking. "I was drunk on on it, James. On him. I didn't see how much I was hurting you. She swore she'd cut Michael off, that she'd quit her job to escape her toxic friends. I see now what we had was enough, she said, her eyes pleading. I want us back. But her words felt hollow. The woman I loved was gone, replaced by someone who'd traded our marriage for a cheap thrill. I looked at her, tears streaming down her face, and felt nothing but a dull ache. I don't know if I can ever see you as my wife again, I said quietly. She broke down, collapsing into herself, but I couldn't comfort her. The truth had gutted me, and I needed to figure out what was left of me. Emily's confession left me hollow. The truth about her affair with Michael, her lies, her betrayal, it was too much. Our Capitol Hill apartment felt like a tomb, every corner haunted by what we'd lost. I couldn't stay there anymore. I packed a bag and moved to my brother's place in Tacoma, 30 miles away. The distance helped, but the pain followed me. Emily kept calling, texting, begging to fix things. She'd quit her job at the ad agency, cut off her toxic friends, even blocked Michael, but her efforts felt like too little, too late. One night, as I sat on my brother's couch, my phone buzzed. It was a voicemail from Emily, her voice shaky. James, I heard something about Michael. Call me back. Curiosity got the better of me. When I called, she sounded broken. She'd overheard a conversation at a coffee shop near her old workplace. Michael had been bragging to a coworker about conquering her, saying she was just a fling to spice up his life before his wedding. He had a fiancée. My blood boiled. He'd used Emily, played her like a pawn, and she'd thrown our marriage away for him. I should have felt vindicated, but all I felt was disgust for him, for her, for the whole mess. Emily sobbed over the phone, saying she was a fool, that she saw now how meaningless it was. I'm trying, James, she said. I'll do anything to make this right. But her words bounced off me. I hung up, my heart a heavy stone. Sarah's face flashed in my mind, her smile, her warmth. She was the one keeping me sane. Then, a week later, I got a message from Jessica, one of Emily's former co-workers. She wanted to meet at a diner in Bellevue. I hesitated but agreed. When I saw her, I barely recognized her. Her eyes were sunken, her face pale, like she hadn't slept in weeks. Over coffee, she spilled everything. She'd had a fling with Michael too, egged on by the same toxic friend group. When she had a pregnancy scare, Michael turned cold, accusing her of trying to trap him. Her boyfriend found out, dumped her, and the stress caused her to lose the pregnancy. Her voice cracked as she spoke, her hands trembling around her mug. I'm sorry, James, she said. I was part of the group that pushed Emily into this. I didn't know it would destroy you both. I sat there, stunned. Jessica's life was in ruins, just like mine. She wasn't asking for pity, she was trying to make things right. She'd gathered evidence against Michael, planning to report him to HR for misconduct. He's a predator, she said, her voice hard. He used his position to manipulate us. I gave her my side of the story, every humiliating detail, and she nodded, tears in her eyes. I'll make sure he pays, she promised. Driving back to Tacoma, I felt a strange mix of emotions. Part of me pitied Emily, manipulated by Michael and her so-called friends. But pity wasn't love, it wasn't trust. Sarah was waiting for me, her texts a lifeline pulling me through the darkness. But Emily's face, her desperate pleas, lingered in my mind. I didn't know if I could forgive her, or if I even wanted to try. All I knew was that Michael's lies had shattered more than just my marriage, and the fallout was far from over. Living at my brother's apartment in Tacoma gave me space to breathe, but the weight of my marriage clung to me like damp Seattle rain. Emily's texts kept coming, each one more desperate than the last. I'm changing, James. I'll fight for us, she wrote, but her words felt like echoes from a life I no longer recognized. Sarah was my anchor now, her laughter pulling me out of the darkness. Yet I knew I couldn't avoid Emily forever. I had to make a choice. I stopped marriage counseling. Sitting in a room with Emily, pretending we could fix this, felt like a lie. Instead, I booked a session with a therapist in Tacoma, just for me. I needed to understand why I felt so numb, why the woman I'd loved for a decade now felt like a stranger. My brother, ever the pragmatist, suggested I meet a divorce lawyer. Just to know your options, he said. So I did, quietly, in a small office downtown. The lawyer's words were clinical, cold, assets, alimony, timelines. It made my stomach turn, but I needed to be prepared. One afternoon, I drove back to our Capitol Hill apartment to grab some clothes. I thought Emily would be out, but there she was, sitting on the floor, surrounded by our old photos, wedding pictures, vacations in Oregon, stupid selfies from our first apartment. Her eyes were red, her cheeks streaked with tears. James, she whispered, standing up. She reached for me, but I stepped back. I just need my things, I said, my voice flat. She nodded, biting her lip, and handed me her phone. You need to see this. It was a message from Michael, sent from a new number. He was furious, blaming her for his downfall. Jessica had followed through, exposing him to HR and his fiancée. He'd been fired, his reputation in ruins. Emily looked at me, her eyes pleading. I helped Jessica, she said. I told her everything, gave her proof. I thought maybe it would show you I'm serious. Her voice broke, but I felt nothing. I'm glad you did the right thing, I said, but it doesn't fix us. She sank to her knees, sobbing. I know I messed up, James. I'll spend my life making it right. Please, don't give up on us. Her words hit me, but not like they used to. I saw the girl I'd loved in high school, but she was buried under the pain she'd caused. I need time, Emily, I said, grabbing my bag. I don't know what I feel anymore. She clutched my arm, arm, her grip desperate. "What does Sarah give you that I can't?" she yelled, her voice raw. I shook my head. "You don't get it, do you? It's not about Sarah. It's about trust." I walked out, her sobs echoing behind me. Later, I met Jessica at a park in Bellevue. She looked worse than before, her eyes hollow, her hands shaking. She thanked me again for helping her expose Michael. "He ruined my life," she said, her voice barely a whisper. "I lost my boyfriend, my baby, everything." I saw the same brokenness in her that I felt. "I'm sorry," I said, and I meant it. But as I drove back to Tacoma, I realized something. I wasn't fighting for Emily anymore. I was fighting for myself. The divorce lawyer's card sat heavy in my pocket. I didn't know if I'd call him yet, but the fact that I was considering it said everything. Emily's betrayal had changed me, and I wasn't sure I could ever go back. I sat in my brother's Tacoma apartment, staring at the divorce lawyer's card. Its edges were worn from my fingers tracing it, weighing my future. Emily's texts had slowed, each one a plea for forgiveness, but they felt like static now. My heart was torn. Sarah's laughter echoed in my mind, a promise of something new, but Emily's tearful face lingered, a ghost of the life we'd built. Could I ever trust her again? I didn't know. Last week, Emily called, her voice frantic. She'd received another message from Michael. He was spiraling, jobless, his fiancée gone, his life in ruins. "He blamed me, James," she said, her words shaky. "But I don't care about him. I just want us." She'd helped Jessica expose him, thinking it would prove her loyalty. It was a brave move, but it didn't erase the betrayal. I told her I needed space, that I was sticking with individual therapy. She sobbed, promising to wait forever. I hung up, my chest tight. I met Sarah for coffee in Fremont, her smile a balm for my wounds. I hadn't told her everything, but she sensed my struggle. "Whatever you choose, James," she said, squeezing my hand. "Make it for you." Her words stuck with me. I wanted to move forward, to feel whole again, but Emily's shadow loomed. Was there a chance for us, or was I clinging to a dead dream? Yesterday, I called the divorce lawyer. We set a meeting for next week. I haven't told Emily yet. Part of me wants to give her a chance, to believe she's changed, but another part, stronger, screams that I deserve better. I'm standing at a crossroads, my heart numb, my future unclear. Will I walk away from Emily forever, or is there a spark left to save? Only time will tell.